Good morning. I wanted to start this discussion board off by showing you a picture of the grave of Samuel Parrott. Samuel was buried at Custard Cemetery in Rushville, Ohio, and was my sixth great-grandfather. My name is Randy Wells, and this is discussion board number 1. And Samuel served in the American Revolution. He was in the Virginia militia. He served from January to September of 1781. And the fact that I have a relative who fought in the Revolutionary War makes this particular class especially relevant to myself. And it also makes this period of history come alive for me personally. And speaking of history coming alive, if I ever get a chance to visit the Boston area, a major attraction would be to see the Boston Freedom Trail. According to the Freedom Trail website, the trail is a 2.5-mile long walking tour known as the Red Line, which includes 16 separate historical sites, all related to the American Revolution. This tour can be started anywhere along the trail, but Boston Common would probably be the best place to start to begin the tour. Established in 1634, Boston Common holds the distinction of being America's oldest public park. But it has another distinction as well. In Almost a Miracle, the American Victory in the War of Independence, historian John Furling writes or describes Boston Common as the place where the British regulars, or redcoats, initially disembarked to begin their occupation following the Boston Tea Party. It was also from Boston Common that 3 regiments of redcoats left to make the notorious trip to Lexington and Concord, from which the shot heard round the world was fired, which initially set off the Revolutionary War. And for these reasons, Boston Common should really be the first place to begin the Freedom Trail walking tour. Now, related to Boston Common, another attraction along the Freedom Trail is the site of the so-called Boston Massacre, which, according to Robert Middlecoff's The Glorious Cause, the American Revolution, 1763 to 1789, occurred because an apprentice named Edward Garish insulted a British officer, and within earshot of that was a British private named White, who took the butt of his musket and struck Garish in the side of the head. And in the ensuing scuffle between Bostonians and the Redcoats, 5 civilians ended up being killed. Now, when compared to massacres like the Sand Creek Massacre of 1864 or the My Lai Massacre during the Vietnam War in 1968, the Boston Massacre seems a little bit anticlimactic. However, the propaganda backlash that it created was just what was needed to turn public opinion against the British, against the Redcoats. Another must-see attraction along the Freedom Trail would be the USS Constitution. This ship, known as Old Ironsides because of its ability to withstand enemy cannon fire into its broadsides, is typical of what a Revolutionary War ship of the line or warship would have looked like. Tour guides portraying characters from the American Revolution also add a measure of realism to the Freedom Trail, as they lend their expertise in answering questions and demonstrating various facets of that time period. Being a World War II and World War I reenactor myself, I can appreciate the effort for historical detail that these people emphasize in presenting what really is an excellent history exhibit. The Boston Freedom Trail would be an excellent field trip opportunity for really all levels of academia. Thank you.